There is nothing wrong with your radio.
Do not attempt to adjust the volume.
We are controlling the broadcast.
For the next hour we will control all that you hear.
You are about to experience the knowledge and insights of the Media Mothership.
Oh my God. Media Mothership is on. Yes. Media Mothership is starting now.
The Media Mothership has landed. Yeah.
So many gremlins in the Mothership today. On gremlins, we'll push on with the half hour we've got now. It's a half-hour show.
It's rapid.
It's going to be rapid fire. So we've got a series of unusual and interesting stories that I've come across, breaking down around franchises, and then a little bit on toxicity, then hidden media. We're not going to get to point 4 or 5 today.
No.
I can tell you that much. So first interesting bit of news is this one, which is the Coyote vs. AMC, the Acme trailer is full of hilarious digs at Warner Brothers. Do you know this story of...
No, is this like a union thing or something?
Well, what had happened is that Warner Brothers produced the Coyote vs. Acme film. So, of course, this is the classic Warner Brothers cartoons, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, all of that team. And they'd produced and filmed an entire movie called Coyote vs. Acme. But then they decided for reasons to not air it. Right, to not put it into cinemas.
Yep.
They wrote it off as it was during that period where a number of films were being not released for tax reasons, kind of storytelling came around it.
Yeah, I remember, there was like a Batgirl film, was it? And it, basically no one will ever see it, well, except for the people who saw the test screenings, but no one will ever see it because they wrote it off for a tax reason, which means it can never be played. Or at least never for money.
Yeah, which seems really irrational and illogical. So, however, the film has now been picked up by a distributor and will be going to the cinema. So, yeah, as the articles talk about, filming began in early 2022 with an expected release date back then of July 2023. However, Warner Brothers removed it. They wrote it off as a $70 million tax write-off. Discovery would be taking a $30 million tax write-off for the $70 million production.
Yeah, so it's essentially them, instead of taking the potential hit of putting it out in cinemas and making like, I don't know, 10 million.
Yeah.
They just were like, let's take 30 million, cut our losses, and continue.
However, they have now sold it. So in March 2025, news broke that Ketchup Entertainment, it sounds like a comic book entertainment company, Ketchup Entertainment, the same company that had released 2024's The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, had acquired the rights for Coyote vs. Acme for $50 million. Now the film's release will be soon upon us, with the scheduled release date of August 28th, 2026. So the trailer's come out, and I'll see if I can skip around to the section. It's a very in-joke trailer. There's a number of kind of in references to it, particularly at the end. So it's got all your classic characters, and it ends... Oh, hold on, I'll go to the end. So...
What is up, Doc?
The corporation is releasing this film for accounting purposes only. We do not condone any of the storylines depicted.
Yeah, so that's a very tongue-in-cheek... Here's Godzilla. Very tongue-in-cheek reference around the fact that, in the trailer itself, Acme is saying that they're releasing it for tax purposes. So it's a very kind of in-world joke about Warner Brothers not releasing it for tax purposes, and they're releasing it for tax purposes. And
right, wait. So have they done anything to the film post?
No. So it was all, I believe it seemed to, I mean, this film has been, and Will Forte, a number of the actors in it have been complaining on the tour circuit at the time that it was simply shelved and not released.
Yeah.
So there'd been a lot of...
For tax purposes.
For tax purposes, that's right. There'd been a lot of build-up and anticipation around, come on, release this movie. Because it had been finished. It had been done and dusted, ready to go. So that.
It was written off for tax reasons, but its storyline had to do with a corporation doing something for tax purposes.
Well, the story, from what I know, the story is about Wile E. Coyote, and of course, in the cartoon, we know the Wile E. Coyote is trying to get the Roadrunner, and he buys Acme product to try and kill the Roadrunner all the time. But the Acme products and his own misfortune means they always fail.
Yeah.
And so the movie's plot that the trailer kind of goes over is that Will Forte, the actor, is a lawyer looking to sue Acme and people that have grievances against Acme, a la Wile E. Coyote.
Right.
So it's all a kind of in-world joke about the fact that Wile E. Coyote never wins and he's blaming it on the product. And John Cena, I think, is the...
yeah, I saw that.
The lawyer for the other team.
He's holding
he's a villain.
Tweety Bird.
He's a villainous character.
Oh, he looks villain. Yeah, he's like squeezing Tweety Bird.
Like a squish stress ball.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's gaining a lot of interest. The bizarre tax write-off story behind this film got a lot of media coverage.
I didn't even really know that this film existed. I didn't know they were making a Wile E. Coyote film to put in cinemas.
Yeah.
They had John Cena in it. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So it has. They have kind of leveraged that, since 2022 story. It'll be interesting to see if it is as bad as Warner Brothers felt, because obviously Warner Brothers decided not to go ahead with it because they felt it was just not going to sell.
I feel like my personal opinion though would be that it's not that even if they thought it sucked, that doesn't mean that it actually sucks.
Well, this would be the interesting thing to see if it actually does have legs, or if indeed it was a rather forgettable film. But, again, sometimes the story behind the making of it is more interesting than the movie itself.
Yeah.
There's a number of cases where the famous ones, The Island of Dr. Moreau with Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer, notoriously plagued production, and the documentary around the fiasco that created is equally, if not more, entertaining than the actual film.
And of course, there is no win-win as well, is there? Because if it does poorly, then WB can be like, "Hey, we told you. That's why we tax wrote it off." And then if it does really well, they'll just be like, "Oh, well, this is because of the media hoopla that was conveyed."
And there's plenty of examples where film studios have been completely out of step, like the notorious Morbius movie, the Marvel Entertainment superhero movie Morbius, about the vampire, played by Jared Leto.
It's Morbin time.
Morbin time, yeah, which became this enormous joke around...
my favourite part of the movie.
It's Morbin time. All these people... Because the movie was so bad that people were going on social media and making jokes about it. One of the biggest jokes, as you're saying, was people saying, it was so good when he morbed out. I can't believe he said it's Morbin time. That was amazing. So all these fake dialogues and scenes, which don't exist in the movie, of course, was driving interest. And then Sony, or whoever it was, picked up on the huge social media memeing of it and decided to re-release it in cinemas. Yeah. This was 6 months or something later. And it bombed a second time. No one went to see it again. So again, it's
no one wanted to see it. They were just having fun with it.
Just joking and laughing at them rather than with them. Talking of media franchises, the other one, I guess we played a little bit of, is this guy. All right, Godzilla.
Brace yourself.
Yeah, getting serious now. This is Polygon Toho Godzilla Officer. So there's someone in Toho franchise cinema job who is the Godzilla officer, has announced new Godzilla cinematic universe.
Oh, that's what that meant in the title, Godzilla. I was wondering, is that the name of a film or something?
No, I think it's his title.
Yeah.
Right, the Godzilla officer. Brace yourself, Godzilla is set to loom larger than ever, but the new universe may ignore Godzilla -1 and -0, which is a real shame. They're the two most recent Japanese versions of Godzilla.
Well, one of those hasn't come out once because
That's
they
right.
released the trailer the other day. I think.
Godzilla -0,
maybe.
I think we're up to. Yeah, -0 is the first one, and then -1 is the next one.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's not like that, but they're really good. Definitely worth watching. Godzilla isn't hanging off the screen. The release of Godzilla -0 later this year. Actually, -0 is the new one that's getting released later this year. It's from Japan.
Going backwards.
Yeah. And it's interesting because this interview was talking with the Japanese and kind of global Amazon American strategy, right? The global strategy behind it. And their plan is to, they refer to treat it like an anime property where there's all these engagement points with it. I was trying to think what they meant by that. I think they're talking about it like Pokemon, right? Where it's transmedia, right? You've got Pokemon the game, Pokemon the movies, the TV show, the plushies. So they're really thinking so in the article they talk about even more fascinating is how Ota, the Godzilla officer, likens the Godzilla franchise to anime, citing it as having the potential to last 50 years or more, whereas anime adaptations tend to end with their manga. Toho is eyeing the potential to keep Godzilla breathing well into the future. The company is willing to do this in some interesting ways, including, Ota notes, a Godzilla for children, which is nothing but cringe to me. I mean, Godzilla is already, like in the 60s, 70s in Japan, he went very child-friendly.
Yeah.
And he was a friend of kids. And it's kind of charming looking back on those rubber-suited quirky Godzilla dancing and so forth scenes where it's almost like watching wrestling matches. But yeah, I mean, which is why I think he's referring to anime there, treating Godzilla like an anime franchise. I can only imagine he's referring to something like Pokemon, something which is big, huge.
It's weird though, but he even says even more fascinating, like he likens it to anime, but then it goes on to say, yeah, for the potential of lasting 50 or more years. Because it says, whereas anime adaptations only end with the manga.
Yeah,
So he's like, it is like, we're treating it like an anime, but also not because we don't want it to end.
Yeah, I mean, it could be talking about it like transmedia, like just trying to shift to different media platforms for Godzilla, although this seems to specifically be talking about kids, but maybe... Yeah, I know there is an anime Godzilla, a TV show Godzilla, which is cool.
It's like -0 was. I haven't seen -0, just to out myself here. But it's more of like a really like intense adaptation, isn't it, of Godzilla? Like it's really gory kind of stuff.
Yeah, it really goes in. Like, I mean, the first Godzilla, 1954, was heralded as having quite dramatic undertones for its time, for being a kind of pulp sci-fi drama of Godzilla. It actually referenced the kind of nuclear bombings that Japan had survived 9 years previously. It referenced the war dead at certain scenes, and there is a sense of Godzilla as a anecdotal metaphor of nuclear destruction, of unstoppable nuclear force. So there is this... And you know, the start of Godzilla is in conversation with real nuclear testings that the US were doing around the Pacific. The Dragon Lady boat, a Japanese fishing boat that was affected by nuclear fallout in one of the test sites post-war. So again, it was very much in conversation. So Godzilla 0 and Godzilla -0. So yeah, Godzilla -1 and Godzilla -0 are both set in that period. So it's the immediate post-war period. Japan's coming out of its wartime depression and war catastrophe environment. And yeah, it's a really grim story of, what if we took this as a very serious, realistic portrayal of how the military would struggle to overcome this.
Yeah, so it's like the really like adult version, and then you've got, and then they're thinking about the Godzilla for children being like a friendlier version
I
for
imagine.
children.
You know, Defender. I mean, Godzilla. If you look at how he develops in the 70s, he becomes a defender of Earth from alien attack. So he becomes
Doesn't he eventually go into space or something?
yeah. Well, there is Space Godzilla, where I forget how his some of his DNA ends up in space on an asteroid. That's in the 80s. And there's young kids. Often, some of those films will have a young child protagonist with Godzilla. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where they go in that direction.
So how does that fit into the the monster? Was it the MonsterVerse? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, well, so they have got a bit of a Godzilla cinematic universe at the moment with King Kong, and this is Garth Edwards did the first
think so.
Godzilla back a few years ago, and since then they've been adding more monsters, kaiju, to each Godzilla film, and they introduced King Kong, and then that spun off into
King Kong,
Solid Kong,
Ghidorah.
King Kong. Yeah, Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla. Then I think they made up a new one. It was called Shimo.
Yeah, there were the Mutos.
There were the Mutos as well. But yeah, there was like a big ice one in the latest one. There was like a big ice one.
Yep.
And there was Scar King as well, who's also
Yeah,
was
there's a
original
kind of-
as like a orangutan, like sort of like Kong, but he's more orangutan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's the TV show on Apple TV, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which stars Kurt Russell and his son
Yeah.
playing the younger version of him.
The guy who he played the Captain America, like the replacement Captain America,
Yes.
whatever he was called.
Yes,
Yeah.
Wyatt. Oh, no, Wyatt Russell's the actor's name.
Yes, yeah.
And
I can't remember the name of the character. But
no,
he becomes the new
Timu.
Captain America. What Timu Captain America? Yeah.
yeah. So, look, I love these Godzilla films, certainly the classic ones. And, I'm intrigued to see where they possibly go. Talking of where things will go. Sorry, get back into the groove.
Dun-dun.
Got my stings working. Gizmondo features a story. What footage could possibly be added to Endgame to make it critical for Avengers Doomsday? So this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we're going from the Godzilla Cinematic Universe to Marvel now. The big new Marvel movie,
It was
the
a
end
good,
of the year.
Good tie-through, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Franchises, cinematic universes. So December 17, Avengers Doomsday is going to get released. And this is the next big Marvel project. You know, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Dr. Doom. In news that's just come out over the last week, the Russo brothers have said that not only is there going to be a cinematic release of Avengers Doomsday back in the cinemas, Avengers Endgame to watch it again.
Oh.
Not only will you be able to watch Avengers Endgame in the cinemas again, but they're adding new scenes to it. Right? So they're adding new scenes that will help set up Avengers Doomsday. So I think there'll be like maybe a few days where Avengers Endgame, so this was the film that was released a few years ago, where, you know, Captain America gives up his Captain America and Iron Man dies.
Yeah.
And
they all
Thanos gets defeated.
all come together to fight Thanos and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this Doomsday is going to build onto Endgame, but it seems there's new footage they've put into Endgame now, little scenes that will help.
Weird.
Yeah. So he also termed Endgame re-release as a critical companion story
I won't
and a
be watching
setup. And a setup for what you're going to watch in December. All right. So
I hope I can still watch it without having to rewatch.
well, this is the interesting question. It is homework, right? So it's like, okay, your homework is to watch cynically you could say it's just a way of making money.
Well, yeah. Does this get added on to, how much money Endgame made at the box office, so then it can like push it back up the ranking. Because didn't they do like an Avatar re-release or something, and then Avatar pushed up a little bit further? Maybe it was past whatever the other one, not Endgame, the one before, or something like that. I don't know. I remember them like because when they re-release it or whatever. I think Infinity War. That's right. Yeah, I think they can tag on that money that they make from the re-release onto that total and be like, it's the highest grossing of all time, because it's just
Look, I mean, and then again, maybe this is in conversation with cinemas struggling to work with streaming, right? That cinema, this is an example of cinema is struggling to compete with streaming, and so they're doing these type of stunts. This is the first time I've seen a film have new footage put in it and then released. I mean, obviously you've got director's cuts and extended cuts. Yeah, but this is kind of not a director's cut or extended cut. This is a kind of, well, we've made this new Avengers movie, and to make sense of it, we've now put new scenes into Endgame.
Presumably it's like stuff that they've filmed during the filming of Doomsday, and then they're going back and added it. Because like the only thing I could think of, I have no idea what the content could possibly be. But the only thing that I could think of is if it's scenes with Robert Downey Jr., or Chris Evans.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yes, because it's quoted. Joe Russo is quoted as saying it's critically important to re-release the movie. This is Endgame, and in fact, we'll be re-releasing the film with footage that is set in the Doomsday story that we have added to Avengers Endgame. So it seems, this is footage they've filmed currently in Doomsday and decided they'll put it into Endgame. Yeah,
I just wonder whether. Because I know they announced Chris Evans is coming back.
Okay, yeah.
As Cat, I assume it's Steve Rogers. And I wonder whether will that have something to do with him and why he comes back at some point, like when he's at a scene, like after he takes all the stuff and he's like taking it back. Maybe there's some scene there or whatever that adds in some context or something. Or maybe Doom's going to show up somewhere and they're just going to have him like hovering in the sky somewhere. Like
they've probably got new sponsors and it's like, well, no, we want Chris to be drinking Coke in this scene. And, all right, talking of scenes which failed from previous, we're going to now gear shift to Star Wars. I'm going to play a scene. Let's see if you know where this scene is from.
Phantom Menace. No,
Hold on.
Return of the Sith.
It is very quiet. Hold on. Here we go.
Attack of the Clones.
Intel from the First Order spy, and it confirms the worst. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from
Do we believe this?
Return of the Jedi. Wait, was it Return of the Jedi?
It is the third of the... No. Not that series. It's the third of the...
What is that movie called?
Yeah, the bad one. It was like... I know, yeah. It was like...
Palpatine Strikes Back.
Palpatine Strikes Back.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Completely forgettable.
Yeah.
Completely forgettable. Anyway, notorious scene from The Rise of Skywalker where Poe Dameron says somehow Palpatine has returned, and it became a real meme.
It's got to be the laziest writing in the world to just be like, somehow Palpatine. That's literally what when you explain that movie to someone, and you're like, oh, what happens? And they're like, what? You know, Palpatine's in it. Like, Palpatine's in it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, somehow he returns. Like that's how you explain like this bad twist in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, somehow.
In fact, it's funny, in the comments, the top comment is, somehow Hitler returned. And that's all the explanation we'll need, I suppose, if that day happens.
Yeah.
It's like, somehow. It's just, it's completely lazy Deus Ex Machina storytelling that, Well, Oscar Isaac, the actor that delivered that line, was interviewed recently, asked about that line. Did he know it was going to become so infamous? When he delivered it, when he was reading on the script, did he go...
I hope he says yes.
He says no. He says it was a reshoot. So he said that scene was one they had to go back months later to do again, or to do for the first time. So they reshot it. And he says... so to quote him directly, Oscar Isaac says, "But had you asked me if at that moment I thought that line was going to be a meme, I wouldn't have known." Right. So at the time he delivered it, he didn't think it was.
I can see that. But I do feel like if you're there and there's this big twist, like the old, the big Palpatine, he's back, and the line is somehow Palpatine returns. I feel like I'd be a bit sus of that.
Oh, look, it's
Somehow Palpatine returned.
no.
Somehow.
Which is and because it's such a miserable film in terms of the suspension of disbelief doesn't work, the Rush storyline, the threads that are still out there.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's ever been revealed or whatever else, but it did feel like that wasn't meant to be what happened. And
no,
because was it J.J. Abrams who did the first one, set all those things up. Then Rian Johnson came in, and then I believe there was a bit of hoopla about that, and about him sort of taking things maybe in his own way and whatever else. And then Snoke got, which I didn't mind the thing that happened to Snoke in that film. I thought it was interesting, as opposed to just like another Palpatine. But then it just ended up that J.J. Abrams was brought in for the last one, and it felt like he just decided to go, let's play it safe. And just
play some of the hits.
Yeah, play the greatest hits.
Palpatine, he's a brand name.
And just somehow he returned.
Skipping through a bit, we've got a few minutes left. So Verge reports on a really interesting story about a Japanese man sentenced to prison for posting spoilers. Right, so
death sentence. No.
it's like 6 months or something. That's
a lot.
Yeah,
6 months for posting spoilers.
Or is it weeks? Anyway, a huge fine. The issue was that over 2024, I think it was, he'd basically created a YouTube channel where he tells the story of movies, TV shows in a very abridged way, but monetized it. So he'd been, it estimated him to have earned $250,000 US through this channel.
Damn. Over like
a year.
Over a year?
Yep, 2024. Crazy. So the court case was born in 2025, and now the judgment's come through here in 2026. Where, because he'd been monetizing it seems, and that this wasn't original content, and all he'd been providing was
like a voiceover.
I think it's a kind of abridged, maybe some shots from the film, and this is what happens, but no commentary, no review, so it's not performing that fair dealings or fair use act, where if you are providing commentary or critique or satire, you're allowed to take 10% of an overall piece of work, or at least that's a legal defense. Here it seems, yes, because it had lacked all of those intellectual acts and was simply a repetition, if somewhat abridged, of the story. Yeah. He'd been found guilty and sentenced to prison. So it was a prison term as well as a fine for this. So, it's serious stuff.
Yeah. I would, like a fine, I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
Fine, I'd be fine. I don't know. Jail, 6 months? Certainly not. I feel like maybe a month is still a bit extreme.
Yeah.
But
I think that's why this is getting news coverage. That it's a prison sentence. Just one more story, because I know at Edge we use Slack. This amused me. Gizmondo reporting that failed companies are selling old Slack chats and email archives to train AI. Defunct startups are pawning off their former employees' conversations for up to $100,000 US, according to a new report. So Slack is a chats tool. Mm-hmm. A lot of companies use it. We use it at Edge, and you can kind of post questions and points.
Yeah.
And
so there's like chat rooms. And then you can also directly chat people. And you can be in the organization creates its own Slack within the app or whatever, and then you can be invited to join it. Yeah.
And it turns out rather than AI simply taking that data, which has been the sad story that's circulating over the last few years, where AI has just been bulldozing through and grabbing content to train on, at least here there's a revenue generating act. But nevertheless, it is worrying that, yes, if you'd been a film or employee, I doubt you'd be receiving any money from.
No, well, because if they're defunct companies, I assume maybe they've like went into administration or something. So this money is then potentially used to pay, like whatever it is. What's it called after somebody? After you go into liquidation. Or whatever, and people who have a stake.
Debts.
Yeah, your creditors and all this stuff. That money's probably used to pay whoever the highest creditor is.
Yeah.
And
Yes. So there you go. If you're sitting on a wealth of Slack chats, you can look into that.
You can make some money. I mean, it probably would be good for AI.
And sadly, that's us. That's us. This week. Very comic booky. I'm just gonna replace my laptop next week. Gonna bring in a new laptop, so bear with me next week. Sorry, no stream this week. So I'm gonna just bring in my my other laptop from home.
Yep,
try that. Feel free to keep listening to Edge. We're a community radio station.
That's right.
Feel free to donate your laptops.
Edge Tunes up next.
Edge Tunes up next.